Halacha Yomi, we're at page 294. So Halacha 50. When needing to take care of a person who is a choleh sheyesh bo sakana, person who is deathly ill, you're allowed to mechalel Shabbat to save him. Melachot that are required to be done for him should be done by a Jew and not a non-Jew or a minor. Why? That the Chachamim instituted it's better that a Jew should break Shabbat to save this guy's life, and instead of avoiding to do it and wasting precious time from saving the guy's life. You know, if a guy says, no, listen, I don't want to break Shabbat, I'd rather go get a goy to break Shabbat to save his life, you're wasting precious time. So looking for a goy. So therefore, Chachamim said specifically, a Jew should do it, and he should not be nervous that he's mechalel Shabbat, because he's not. There's a mitzvah to break Shabbat to save the guy's life. Okay. 52. A person who is a choleh sheyesh bo sakana should be treated by a doctor who observes Shabbat, rather than treated by a doctor who does not observe Shabbat. However, if the not religious doctor is considered a better doctor, so then he'll be permitted to go and he's considered better than the doctor who's religious, and the irreligious doctor should go and do it instead. And 53, it's halachically preferable to call an ambulance and then to call a taxi to go to the hospital in case of emergency on Shabbat. So first of all, the people who run Hatzalah, they know exactly what to do for Shabbat. They're trained for how to deal with Shabbat and saving people's lives. And in the footnote over here, it says, another advantage of getting an ambulance is the person can get immediate treatment by the people who is the paramedic, as opposed to in a taxi. Going to the hospital in a taxi you don't get any treatment on the way. But Hatzalah, they give you treatment on the way while you're going to the hospital. Okay, fine. 54. When performing melacha for someone who's choleh sheyesh bo sakana, one should perform the melacha the regular way and not do any shinui, because if you're not going to be able to do the saving properly because you're going to be busy trying to figure out how to do a shinui, it's also wasting time. But 55, melachot that are not directly related with the treatment of the dangerously ill person, that should be done with a shinui. Right, so things that are melachot that you have to do to save the guy's life directly, that you could do without a shinui. But things that are not directly related to saving the guy's life, that should be done with a shinui. Let's say a doctor who has to write a prescription, right, for the person who's considered dangerously ill, he should write it with a shinui with his left hand. So let's say somebody needs to call the ambulance, he should use the shinui when dialing the phone number if it will not cause any delay. Okay. 57. Let's say you have a choleh sheyesh bo sakana, and he says, please turn off the light, I want to rest. And his life is on the line, right? You're allowed to turn off a light or put out a light for a choleh sheyesh bo sakana if he needs it to rest. Preferably, you should use the shinui when turning off the light. 58. If someone is required to cook food for a person who's choleh sheyesh bo sakana, preferably you should do it in a microwave or electric stovetop instead of a gas stove. That way you don't turn on a fire necessarily. However, one should not go out of his way to use if one has a gas stove readily available, because you don't want to delay helping the sick person. If a choleh, 59, if a choleh sheyesh bo sakana requests to send a message to his rabbi or to his family member on Shabbat that they should pray for him, and to relay this message, they have to mechalel Shabbat. It performs, you need to do a melacha. You should send a non-Jew. However, if the choleh does not ask for it, you shouldn't send it at all, even through a non-Jew. If a person is sick and he could delay the treatment till Shabbat's over, and nothing will happen to him, it's just, he'll be fine, then he should delay it till after Shabbat. But if delaying it till after Shabbat will have even a slight negative effect to the condition of the patient, he's not allowed to delay it till after Shabbat. He has to go on Shabbat. Okay, until now we were talking about choleh sheyesh bo sakana. Now moving on to choleh she'en bo sakana. What's a choleh she'en bo sakana? A person who is sick, but not deathly ill, but not just any sick. He has to be sick that he has to lay down and he feels pain in his entire body, right? Or he's so incapacitated by this pain that he has, he's not able to function. He's not able to go to work. He would stay home all day in bed. He's considered choleh she'en bo sakana, but there's no threat to his life. So you're not allowed to do melacha deoraita on Shabbat for him. You're not allowed to break Shabbat and drive a car for a choleh she'en bo sakana. He has no death threat to his life. So therefore, you're not allowed to break Shabbat. But we're allowed to be lenient with rabbinically forbidden melachot. For example, right, on Shabbat, we don't take medicine usually. If you have a slight ache, a backache, a slight headache, you can't just pop a Tylenol. It's a surah on Shabbat, the Gzerah D'Rabbanan, to take medicine, right? But let's say a guy is in bed, he can't move, right? I'm so weak, he can't get up from bed. Then the rabbis would be lenient with him and let him take medicine on Shabbat, even though regular people cannot. Yes?
Let's say a person takes medicine every day. It's like a daily thing.
It's a vitamin? Medicine. Yeah, let's say some older people, they have to take blood pressure medicine every day, let's say. So what, you want to know if he can take it on Shabbat?
Yeah.
Is his condition going to become bad if he doesn't take it? If he misses one day, something bad will happen to him? If yes, he's allowed to take it. If not, so he shouldn't take it. Okay. Okay, so now, what type of people are not allowed to take medicine on Shabbat? People who are not sick in bed, but they have a small pain. People ask, Rabbi, I understand. If I have a headache, I can't take a Tylenol. I don't understand. What about Onek Shabbat? You have to enjoy the Shabbat. How am I going to enjoy the Shabbat like this? You have to understand that the Chachamim made this rule. Why? Because in the times of the Gemara, they didn't have Tylenol. The way you used to get healing was they used to take a specific combo of herbs, crush it up on Shabbat, and that's how they would have to give you these herbs. You would drink this, you would eat it, you would do whatever you need to do with it, and then that would heal you. So you had to crush things on Shabbat, just the Halacha d'Oraita. So you can't do that. So therefore, they outlawed medicine for people who are not sick in bed. But so today, everything's in a pill form already. Everything's ready to all you have to do is drink it. All you have to do is eat it. Still, once the Chachamim's enactment is in place, we can't get rid of it, even if the reason doesn't apply anymore. For example, we read Hazara every single day after the Amidah for the people who don't know how to read. But everybody has their own Siddur. Why do we need to do Hazara? Once the rabbis made a rule, we can't start cutting out their rules that they made it previously, unless we're greater in number or greater wisdom. Yom Tov Sheni, right? Second day Yom Tov. We have a calendar today. We know what day Yom Tov is. No, we still need to keep second day Yom Tov. If we start cutting out what the rabbis' rules were from the yesteryear, Chas v'shalom will throw out even critical halachot. Chas v'shalom will become like a reform. Throwing out this halacha, throw out that halacha. Chas v'shalom. For example, we read Friday night, Arvit, a small repetition of Amidah. That also, why you need to have Amidah, repetition of Amidah, Arvit? You never have repetition of Amidah, Arvit. Oh, because Shul used to be in a dangerous place. We needed to delay the prayers for the people who came late. That way they don't walk home alone. These halachot don't apply today. Still, we keep them once the rabbis made them. Same thing over here. So who's a person who's not a sick person, who's not sick in bed? For example, guy has minor digestive problems. He has a tummy ache. He's still functional. Let's say a guy has a minor headache, a minor cold, minor congestion. He doesn't feel well, but he's not totally sick in bed. Let's say a guy has a small burn, a small cut. He's in pain. Guy has chapped hands. He has eczema. He has a rash. All these things, he's in pain, but he's not sick in bed. All these situations he can't. He's not allowed to do to take medicine. Minor toothache. All these things he cannot break the rabbanans. He's not allowed to go and break rabbinical or melachot just because he's in pain. Okay, so since this guy who says, Rabbi, what about Onek Shabbat? The Chachamim were more concerned that we should keep Shabbat than enjoy the Shabbat, Onek Shabbat. Imagine a guy says, yeah, but I want to go shopping on Shabbat. It's my Onek Shabbat. Onek Shabbat doesn't permit you to do forbidden things. You have to make do with what you have. Okay, what about not just taking medicine? any action that's considered a healing action will be forbidden on Shabbat, included in the decree of not taking medicine. So, for example, a person is going to do some sort of action that's going to heal. Like, for example, the guy has chapped hands, right? Let's say he's bleeding. On Shabbat, it would be a to put cream. Putting cream would be like the equivalent of taking medicine. You're healing yourself. But things that are not necessarily considered healing, but that you would do it even if you're not in pain, those are permitted. What are the things that you would do even if you're not in pain? For example, let's say a guy has a headache. You're allowed to put cold water in your face to make yourself feel better. Because we put cold water in our face even when we feel fine. So that's not considered a healing action. Let's say a person has stomach pain. He wants to drink hot tea. It's not considered taking medicine because people who are even healthy, they also drink tea. Let's say a person wants to have a small massage. Someone rub your back because you're in pain. That's allowed also because even healthy people, after a long day of work, they would want a nice back rub, after a long day. All these situations, since you're doing it, because even healthy people will do it, you'll be allowed to. Or let's say vitamins. We're going to talk about vitamins. Vitamins even healthy people take. So you're allowed to take vitamins on Shabbat. Or let's say sleeping pills. Sleeping pills, even though that's medicine, even normal healthy people take sleeping pills. So therefore, you'll be allowed to take sleeping pills on Shabbat as well. So we're going to have to go into detail of what exactly is considered forbidden on the medicine and healing on Shabbat, and what is considered permitted. Baruch Me'olam. Amen.